It being Friday, the 8th of January. I'm so delighted that you join us here tonight. 65 folks in the room right at the moment, and I'm sure a few more will filter in as we're going down the line. This also is the annual meeting of the Wisconsin chapter, NRHS. So we're going to have just a very brief business meeting here, a little bit longer, a little bit more formal than we normally do, but I hope to step through it as quickly as possible. For those of you who are members, I shared an agenda with you, and it is also on the chapter's website. And I'm sure that we have a quorum present. That's the first item of agenda item of business on the agenda, making sure we have a quorum. Once again, per NRHS bylaws, if you are a member of both the chapter and the national, you are an eligible voter. You are an official member of our chapter. If you are a subscriber to our newsletter only and not a member of the NRHS National, we certainly appreciate you being here. We appreciate your support, but our meetings, our members have the voice in the meeting room, and but everybody else is welcome to be here. And if you haven't joined yet, please consider doing so. So we need, as of January 1st, we had 49 members who had paid up their dues, and we needed a total of 5% of those, 5% present to. I see more than 5% more than five persons. 3 persons. We need 3 persons to be here, and we're all here. So we do have a quorum, so we may continue. We also on the website, we published the minutes for our annual meeting last year from January 3rd, 2020. The chair would entertain a motion to approve these minutes.
So moved.
And seconded, Dave Nelson.
Okay, thank you. May the record show that Keith Nelson made the motion to approve the minutes as published, and Dave Nelson seconded. For those who are members in the room, we're going to take a quick vote on this. And the best way to do that, I think, is to use your reaction button down at the bottom of your screen. For those of you who are members, please vote yes by raising your hand like this. Or, shake your head or do something like that. Just give us a thumbs up. Those of you who are members, I'm seeing a lot of you saying yes, a lot of raised thumbs. Excellent. All those opposed, please signify by shaking your head no if you're a member. Just looking at doing a quick visual scan. I don't see anybody, so the motion carried. It's not the most efficient way to vote, but I think it will suffice. All right, and then we're going to move on. Yes, Dave?
Yeah, just for the record, Mike, I am not Dave Schmidt or Keith Schmidt. I am Dave Nelson.
And I'm Keith Schmidt, not Keith Nelson. So we're not brothers from another mother.
Tom Nelson, did you get, Tom Markuson, did you get, I'm sure you got that right. I apologize for conflating the two of you. I should know better.
I got that correct.
Thank you. All right, so I just have a few. I have a few remarks here that we're that I'll run through here quickly as we begin our meeting. Just a quick recap of some of the things that happened over the last year. In January, our former treasurer, Tom Hoffman, retired from his position as the treasurer after a run of 30-something years. Tom Hoffman, can you unmute yourself? Tell us
I
how
am
long,
unmuted. I'm unmuted.
okay, tell us how long did you serve as treasurer?
I started on the sudden and tragic death of Don Reck in July of 1986.
And you were the treasurer up until January of last year.
Correct.
So that was a long term. We certainly appreciate your service to the chapter. Again, anybody who wants to give a thumbs up to or crack a beer in Tom's honor, please do so. Well
Thank
done. I see applauses and thumbs up. Thank you for your service, Tom. Tom
You're
was
welcome.
also our presenter January last year. In February, our program featured James Wade's doing a really excellent program on telegraphy that generated a lot of goodwill within the organization. A lot of folks were pretty excited about the stuff that he presented for us. In March, Fred Hyde did a presentation on Milwaukee Road Lines East, primarily in South Dakota and Minnesota. And then in April, we had the brakes put on us. And there was no meeting because of COVID. Now, prior to this, though, we had been starting an internal discussion about actually having our chapter reflect the name a little bit better. We are the Wisconsin chapter. We've met for a long, long time in Fox Point. For that reason, we've had a good attendance by people in the area, but not so good for attendance. It's not convenient for people outside of the area, like Doug Fast, who happens to live in nearby the Madison area, or Steve Borleski in Onalaska, Wisconsin. So our goal was to do some meetings in other parts of the state. Unfortunately, when we started working toward this, that's when the COVID hit. So we had to put that on hold. When things get back to normal, though, we will want to pursue that. Then in May, we had our first Zoom meeting featuring an impromptu meeting, an impromptu program of 5 presenters that worked out really well for all of us, I thought. In June, we were supposed to have a banquet, but we didn't because of COVID. Instead, we had a hastily arranged meeting, a night at the museum that had representatives of 3 of Wisconsin's leading railroad museums. That was a great program. And it was made possible and made easy by the fact that we were meeting virtually. So that was a high point for us. We went dark during the months of July and August, as we normally do. We did have a board meeting in July, though, so that's a good thing. We returned to the meeting schedule back in September with our members' favorite slide night, and that featured 10 presenters that night, which I think was a high watermark for the sheer number of presenters. Again, we're doing it online, so we're able to attract more presenters, make it easier to come. You just do it online. So that was a great thing. Then in October, we heard from our friends at the Wisconsin Great Northern, who detailed their plans for the restoration of the Mark Twain Zephyr, a very memorable program from Greg Vreeland. Then in November, Eric Hendrickson gave us a very memorable program on CSX's Honor locomotives. Eric is a native of Wisconsin, and he jumped on the opportunity to share some of the work that he's done with CSX. And it was a very, very lively and very memorable presentation in November. Then in December, it was a busy month for us. We actually had a couple things going on. We had a regular meeting with Larry Eastwood from the Philadelphia chapter. He gave us a program on Montreal to the Maritimes. That was quite an interesting travelogue spanning decades. We had a board meeting in the month of October, and we also had our second online slideshow. So that's kind of a recap of some of the things that we did over the course of the year. And I just want to read something here that I put in our newsletter. I've maintained that the virtual meetings are a great response to the pandemic, but an imperfect solution for a group whose name includes society. We've lost the one-on-one moments of fellowship before and after our meetings that we have in the church basement. And but we've gained the ability to reach members and others who find the monthly drive to Fox Point either burdensome or impossible. So many of these folks have chosen to affiliate with us, and we like to think that they are spurred on by the excellence of our programs. Since the pandemic started, we have welcomed 26 new members to the chapter, and welcome to you all. That's a high point. Also, I do want to point out that our chapter would have not have achieved any degree of success if it's not for the contributions from our board of directors and their enthusiasm. So please acknowledge our board, if you would, right now by just giving a thumbs up in your little reactions thing, a thumbs up or a heart or anything you can give them, show them some love because they work on your behalf. I'd like to acknowledge some new members who have come our way since last time we met. In the month of December, Dave Rasmussen joined. Steve Glashinsky from Shoreview, Minnesota joined. Richard Hawthorne is a new member, joins us from New Berlin. Mike Rea from Chicago is a new member. Matt Diesler from Fort Atkinson is a member. I should mention that Dave Rasmussen is from Glendale. And Tony White, I see him in the house here tonight. Tony White from Stamford, Connecticut, vice president with the NRHS. He became a member of our chapter. George Chiasson from Rockland, Massachusetts joined. Stephen McCarthy and Jennifer McCarthy from Mukwonago joined the chapter. I see they're in the house tonight. Courtney Arbrecht is in the house. Courtney has joined us. Hi, Courtney, from Chicago. And then so far in January, Mark Lynn has joined us. He's from St. Paul. And as I mentioned before, Todd Taylor has joined us. Welcome, Todd. Todd is our newest new member, having been a member for all of about an hour. So thank you all for joining. So let me just share some of the projects we're working on, and then I'll wrap up here real quick. We are close. I mean, we are this close to implementing a PayPal button on the chapter's website, which will allow you to renew your membership in our chapter. We hope to have some products available for sale at some point in the near future. You'll be able to buy them through an e-commerce site on our website. So that's going to take a little effort, but we actually do have the PayPal account active right now. And I would like to say, if anybody would like to renew, the easiest way is just to drop us an email. You can send it to president@nrhswis.org and ask for an invoice. Our treasurer, Tara, will send you an invoice that will make it super easy for you to pay on PayPal. There's just an extra $1 convenience fee for paying on PayPal for a total of $21. So please consider that. Send that note to president@nrhswis.org and we'll get you taken care of. And we thank you for your support. So we're also exploring the possibility of producing a wall map of historic Wisconsin railroads. I'm going to give you a little preview of it right here, right now. This handwritten map was produced by our secretary, Tom Markison. Tom's in the house tonight. He's taking notes. Tom has given us the green light to go ahead with this project. We're going to use his hand-drawn maps as source material for a professionally produced wall map that we will be making available at some point in the future, if all works out well. So I just wanted to share that as an option for you guys, something to keep in mind as we move forward. Tom has been remarkably generous in allowing the chapter to produce this map. It's going to be something that you're all going to want, and there will be, of course, a discount for members. And then we're also working on the possibility of producing a wall calendar for 2022, a wall calendar featuring Wisconsin railroads. And again, there will be a discount for members. And then finally, in May, we're going to be holding a joint Wisconsin chapter, Northwest Illinois chapter Zoom meeting. And that's going to take place in early May, not on our normal regular meeting night and not on the NWI normal meeting night, but on a different night. And we don't have the details to announce on that yet. I just wanted you to know that we're all working on that, and it will be an interesting experience, something to look forward to in May. And with that, I'm going to wrap up my remarks. Thank you for indulging me on all that. Thank you for your membership and support. And right now, are there any questions? And I'm just looking at the chat, and I see Jim Rint says he has joined, and apologize for that omission. Thank you, Jim Rint, for your support. I'm gonna take care of looking at as well. In any event, we do have this to look forward to, so that's going to be a good thing. Moving on, Tara, our treasurer, Tara Grudzlanek, has been in place as treasurer. She's still got a few things that you're working on. Do you want to give us share us a treasurer's report?
Sure. I just want to say thank you, as Mike did, for Tom for helping in the transition of everything, and he kept great records all these years. And of course, some of the normal account activity didn't take place, such as no banquet, as was mentioned. But this is the accounts that I have for 2020. The opening balance for the checking account was $7,427.84. Total receipts of dues and donations, $2,230. Interest of $1.85, for a total of $2,231.85. And then we had expenses for Sparks and Cinders printing, postage, and mailing expenses of $1,954.83. The web host.
Tara, may I ask how many months does that cover?
That's for the whole year.
Oh, okay, thank you.
The web hosting service and domain renewals of $129.05. The Zoom account, $15.81. We had purchased a projector bag for the overhead projector that was purchased earlier in 2019 of $71.17. There was an annual PO box renewal of $106. And then we made donations to the North Shore congregation, which hosts our meetings, of $550. And then we have a Securian insurance premium annually of $695. And of course, no banquet this year, no sales tax. So a total expenses of $3,521.86. So the year-end balance, $6,835.67. We had a small amount of checks that have not yet cleared the bank in December for end of month of $697.84 outstanding checks. And due to some year-end information, still waiting for some end of year statements, some of the totals for some assets I'm not able to report at this time to make an accurate reporting to everyone. So we're waiting some information on that yet. And
Okay.
that's all I have.
Okay, that's excellent. Thank you for that report, Tara. And you will provide additional information in subsequent months once we get a handle on the assets in question.
Yes.
Yeah, okay, very good. Okay, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the treasurer's report, subject to the normal review.
So moved, Tom Hoffman.
Second,
Second,
And who said second first?
Bob Joyce.
Bob Joyce, second, thank you. All those in favor signify by saying aye or raising your hand or doing something like that. And all those opposed say, put your hands down or do something else. Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Tara. Ralph, do you have a very brief banquet report?
Tom Hoffman and I started working on the 2020 annual dinner in 2019, and it was postponed because of COVID. The annual dinner is usually an excellent evening with an excellent speaker. It's a real highlight of the year. Right now, we are on hold. However, I checked again in December with the individual at Palace who said they're ready for us to make a reservation sometime in the spring or in the summer. They're open for business again. We discussed it at the board meeting, and we're still on hold about when we want to try to do this event. But we hope to hold it again in 2021 at Palace on Highway 100, where we held it several years ago, and it's a nice room to hold the event in, and the food was good. So I think the board has decided the cost per person will be $25. Soon as we have some more definitive information of when we can hold this, I'll have more to talk about, Mike. Any questions?
I guess I don't hear any questions. So thank you for that report, and we look forward to the banquet and hope we can maintain the speaker that we had in mind for this past year to be our keynote speaker again, well, for this year. So thank you, Ralph, for staying current on that. I'm not showing any new business that needs to be discussed. Does anybody have any, old business that needs to be discussed? Does anybody? No. Okay, we'll move on to new business. And first item of agenda on the agenda for new business is the election of 2021 chapter officers and board. And it's going to be relatively easy. First of all, let me ask, are there any nominations for any of the positions from the floor? You have your opportunity now. As it stands right now, all of our incumbents are running for re-election. And the directors are Dan Gordzlanik, Ralph McClure, Andrew Roach, Kathy Wagner, and Neil Wagner. And then the officers are Tom Markison as secretary, Tara Gordzlanik as treasurer, Keith Schmidt as vice president, and Mike Uhas as president.
Mr. President, I make a motion that we have a unanimous ballot for the officers as presented.
I'll second that, Rich Hawthorne.
Rich Hawthorne seconds that motion. All those in favor, please just wave your hand, put your hand up to make this expedient. And I'm seeing most of you guys, most of you members are waving or showing that sort of sentiment. So the motion carried. All right, then let's do this. Here we are now going to vote for the entire slate of officers as presented. All those in favor, please signify. All those members of the Wisconsin chapter of the NRHS only, please signify by raising your hand or waving or giving us some sort of sign. All those opposed? Okay, all of us are, I guess, are re-elected. Thank you for that. Is there any other new business that that we should be considering right now?
Mr. President, I don't know whether this is new or old business, but we should have a motion to accept the minutes to last year's annual meeting, which were available on the website.
Yeah, we did that earlier, Dave.
We did? Okay.
We did. We did. Keith, you're saying no? Tom Markison, can you unmute and tell us, did we do a motion on?
Yes, we did. That was item 2 on the agenda, and it passed unanimously.
Okay.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Dave, for trying to keep us on the straight and narrow for that. Let's see. Any other new business,
Yes.
Keith?
Since Tara just mentioned an incomplete report, it may be better, maybe it's a better idea to move the annual meeting to February so that everything could come in and then we could get a full report. So I guess I would make a motion that we move the annual meeting to February instead of January.
Okay, before we take that up, I think that's fundamentally a good idea.
I agree.
And we're not talking about making the annual meeting effective February until next year.
Correct, 2022. Correct.
Okay, is there a second?
Yeah, I'll
I
second it.
think, Ward did.
Ward seconded. Thank you, Ward. Any discussion?
Only to point out that our bylaws permit this. Our bylaws say that the annual meeting can be in January or February.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Dave.
Dave.
As written, as current, yes, that is correct. So thank you. All right, let's, any other discussion? Let's put that to a vote then, to our members, designating the month of February, starting in 2022, as the annual meeting month for the Wisconsin chapter of the NRHS. Raise your hand or put your thumb up or what have you. Looks like, and all those opposed? Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Keith.
You're welcome.
Thank you for that bid toward making us a little bit more efficient. Is there anything else for the good of the order? All right, we will now adjourn. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I move we adjourn.
We will, in a second.
Second, Hoffman.
Tom Hoffman, second. And we will vote to adjourn the business portion of the meeting. Yes, passed by voice vote or wave visual vote or whatever. And then we're going to now continue on with our program portion. Thank you for the participation of everybody and the indulgence of those who are not members.